Welcome to another edition of the Lotus Lowdown. Today we're going to talk about real relationships versus fantasy relationships. Real relationships are built on mutual effort, acceptance of flaws, and shared values. Whereas fantasy relationships rely on perfection, projection, and infatuation. Real lasting love requires managing conflict and vulnerability, while fantasies often feel safe, romantic, and dream-like, but humanity lack the depth and often the reality of a true partnership.
Key realities of relationships versus fantasy. Acceptance versus profession. Real relationships involve accepting a partner's flaws, while fantasy relationships idealize them, ignoring their flaws. Active effort versus passive feelings. Real love is a full requiring action and communication, not just a feeling of being in love. Vulnerability versus safety. Real lasting love involves taking risks and being vulnerable, while fantasy is a protective bubble.
Shared reality versus projection. Well, Tom, real partners are seen for who they are, whereas fantasy involves projecting a desired image onto someone. Growth through the struggle versus escape. Real relationship faces challenges and through them become stronger, while fantasy relationships often act as an escape from the pain or mundanity of life. Signs of fantasy relationship. Pedestal syndrome. You can focus on a partner's potential rather than who they are.
Limerence. Intense temporary infatuation that thrives on distance or longing. The perfect match. A belief that a partner should never hurt or disappoint you, ignoring human imperfection. Safe zone living. You prefer thinking about them to spending time with them. Note, while healthy new relationships may have elements of fantasy, long-term functional relationships must be grounded in reality. We'll be right back with more of the Lowdown right after this.
Welcome back. Now we're going to talk about why some people have poor boundaries. A lack of boundaries often points to personality traits or disorders like borderline personality disorder, BPD, characterized by intense, unstable relationships, difficulties with self-identity, and emotional dysregulation, or dependent personality disorder, where individuals fear rejection and people please excessively.
This can also stem from upbringing, trauma, or attachment styles. Anxious, disorganized, manifesting as oversharing, difficulty saying no, feeling easily overwhelmed, or being overly accommodating to avoid conflict, leading to exhaustion and vulnerability. That is all for healthy boundaries.
Welcome back. Now we're going to discuss why you shouldn't be silent towards bullying. Silence in the face of bullying is determinal because it enables abusers, isolates victims, allows toxic, fearful environments to thrive. Speaking up breaks the cycle, protects mental health by preventing long-term emotional damage, like low self-esteem, and shifts power dynamics. It's not just about stopping the immediate harm, but creating a culture where respect and safety are maintained, preventing further victims.
Here is why you should not be silent on bullying. Silence empowers the bully. Inaction or silent acts that permissive, signaling to the bully that they can continue their behavior without consequences. It causes severe emotional harm. Staying silent often leads to a decline in self-esteem, increased anxiety, and in some cases depression. It isolates the victim. When witnesses do not speak up, the victim feels like nobody cares, which intensifies the feeling of being alone.
It creates a toxic culture. In workplaces or schools, silence allows fear-based cultures to grow. Speaking up changes the dynamic. Even a single voice of support can shift the power dynamic and stop the abuse. What to do of staying silent? Document and report. Keep a record of an incidents and report them to authorities, HR, or schools officials.
Support the victim. Directly supporting someone being bullied can empower them. Break the cycle. By speaking up, you turn a personal battle into a stand for safety and for others. Create a blueprint for survival. If you are in immediate danger, contact local law enforcement. That is all for anti-bullying. Welcome back to the Lowdown. Today we're going to be reviewing standard number 37, which says, the clubhouse holds open forums and has procedures which enable members and staff to actively participate in decision making, generally by consensus, regarding governance, policy making, and the future direction and development of the clubhouse. That is all for the standard review. Welcome back. We're going to learn about the history of mental health treatment. Mental health treatment has evolved from ancient superstition-based practices and inhumane confinement in asylums, 17th and 19th centuries, to modern evidence-based care. Major shifts included the 19th century morale treatment movement, the 1950s introduction of psychoactive medications, and subsequent deinstitutionalization, replacing long-term confinement with community-based care and psychotherapy. That is all for mental health history. Welcome back, and now we're going to be reading Clubhouse International News. Showing on Shoney 6 Clubhouse Movement Celebration Week March 2nd through 8th. Clubhouses around the world provide people living with mental illness, purpose, friendship, and joy. In partnership with Clubhouse Michigan, Clubhouse International powered this week-long social media event to showcase the transformative impact of the Clubhouse movement via the voices of Clubhouse communities. Launched in 2014 by members of the Michigan U.S. Clubhouse Coalition, this year marks the 12th annual celebration, and the event continues to grow each year. That is all for Clubhouse International News.
Welcome back. Now we're reading an article from the February newsletter written by Cambron about the Kansas City Chiefs. Did you know the Kansas City Chiefs went to the championship 3 times in a row? And they also have the best head coach in the NFL, Andy Reid. Patrick Mahomes has the most MVP rewards in the NFL.
He has a brain up that would make a lot of people think and wonder, what's his next move? Patrick Mahomes is a very incredible player. He can do the utmost things and become a threat with that ball. That is all for Newsletter Spotlight. Hello and welcome to another guest spotlight, and we have Camden here today. Camden, we're gonna ask you some questions. Where do you come from?
I was born here in Topeka, Kansas.
Ooh, a native. Where do you go to school?
I'm currently enrolled in Washburn University. I'm in the Masters of Social Work program.
Yeah, Washburn University! How did you find out about our clubhouse?
My advisor recommended I do my practicum here.
What made you decide to do your internship here? I think you just answered that question.
Yes, she recommended I do my generalist practicum here so I can get experience in the social work field and save my in-depth experience for my clinical practicum.
Alright. What led you to media?
I was drawn in by the the operations they do, and I have experience in their tasks. Like, I have experience in Microsoft Word and PowerPoint, which are helpful in the weekly PowerPoint and documents they make.
What's your favorite thing to do in media?
I'd say my favorite thing to do in media is work on the PowerPoints and Lotus Daily Dose and such.
What's your least favorite thing to do in media?
Probably cleaning.
I'm right there with you, buddy. Don't show this to Molly! What's your favorite thing to do at Clubhouse as a whole?
Just engage in the community here, because everyone's so nice and welcoming, and I really feel at home here.
Except that Laura, oh man, that Laura is horrible, man. We don't even know what to do with her. What days do you come on?
Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Yeah, double T's. What are your hopes for the Clubhouse's future?
That we expand our community by welcoming in new members, and hopefully expanding the clubhouse itself, because I remember Molly talking about us wanting to get apartments, and I'd like to see that become a reality one day.
Yeah, I can live in one. All by myself. No one bugging me and pounding on my door telling me to turn my music down. Okay, Ken, that's all the questions I had. Thank you for showing us. And we'll be right back.
Welcome back. Now we're going to close this episode with our celebrations. Alex B for keeping the clubhouse clean and scrubbing the bathroom floors. Amber for making our fruit. Paula and Trisha for working in Threads of Hope.
And Toei for spearheading our Harvarders order. That is all for this week's edition of the Lotus Lowdown, and we hope to see you next week.
You ready?
Oh.
Oh, he said. Come on.
Yay, Flipper!
He's a lunch lady.
Ah.
Is it working?
I don't know, you're the cameraman.
You're still very zoomed out.
It's on 18, it's gonna... But then zoom it in if it's bothering you.